to Ascended Master Mahavatar Babaji. My pranams to Great Grandmaster Brahmarshi Pidamaga Dr. Badriji sir. My pranams to Great Grandmaster Mahavatar Foundation founder Guruji Dr. Thiru Ranganathan sir. My pranams to all masters and friends. My pranams to the universe. Good evening, friends. Today, my topic is Vaakshetram 2. Before I leap into Vaakshetram 2, I shall give a very brief, very small brief of Vaakshetram 1. So you will have a very good continuity of Vaakshetram 2. So Vaakshetram 1 is based on the three fundamental fields, that is field of thought, field of speech, field of action. That is the field of Manokshetra, Vaakshetra and Karmashetra. See, the field of to truly know oneself, one must explore these three domains. That is the realm of one's thoughts, realm of one's words, and realm of one's deeds. So, mind is the collection of our thoughts, speech is the collection of our words, karma is the collection of our action. So, together, these three constitute the complete human experience. So, the world of thought, this is the domain of the mind where imagination, ideas, and inner visions arise. So, every human being lives within this subtle world of thinking. We dwell in it consciously or unconsciously for much of our lives. So next, the field of speech is the bridge between the inner and the outer world. Speech is the bridge between the silence and the sound, between the unseen and the seen. In the world of thought, there is no resistance. Everything flows effortlessly within. But in the world of speech, resistance begins. Words carry energy. They reach others. They create vibration, evoke response, and influence the field around us. So when we enter the field of speech, we also enter the field of responsibility. Words are not mere sounds. They are vibrations of energy. A word can heal or it can wound. It can build bridges between hearts or erects walls of division. So next, the field of action, that is the Karma Kshetra. When our words manifest through the body, through movement, behavior, or physical expression, they become action. Here, the universe responds in the most concrete way. In the realm of thought, freedom is absolute. In the realm of speech, it is partial. In the realm of action, freedom becomes bound by the law of cause and effect. So next, we saw the harmony of three fields, which is the path of the Dharma. So when thought, word, and deed are aligned, we experience peace. This alignment is the essence of integrity, the expression of truth, and the foundation of dharma, the right living. So when our thoughts are pure, words naturally become truthful. When words are truthful, actions become righteous. Such a person lives in serenity within and radiates harmony wherever they go. So next, we saw the cause of suffering, division within the self. So when the three dimensions of life, thought, speech, and action lose harmony, suffering begins. If we think one way but speak differently, we deceive ourselves. If we speak one thing but act otherwise, we deceive others. And a life of contradiction erodes peace from within. This inner split, the distance between what we think, say, and do is the birthplace of hypocrisy and the true cause of human misery. So then we start how to purify our thought. That is the Mano Suddhi. The purification of human life begins with the purification of thought. Thoughts are the roots from which the tree of life grows. Words are its branches, and actions are its fruits. A pure thought is the seed of peace. An impure thought is a seed of suffering. Then we saw about the purification of speech. So if speech is a sacred energy, that is Vakshati, when guided by truth, compassion, and awareness, it becomes a force of healing. When driven by ego or ignorance, it becomes a weapon of destruction. Therefore, one must practice speech discipline to speak only what is true, to speak only what is kind, and to speak only when it is necessary. Then we saw about the purification of actions. That is the karma suddhi. Action is the visible expression of our inner world. It is the final flowering of thoughts and speech. Whatever we think, we speak ultimately manifests through our deeds. A person, we saw about a person filled with tamas acts in ignorance. A person governed by raja acts for desire and reward. A person rooted by in sattva acts with peace and clarity. And one who transcends all the three, nirguna, acts effortlessly as a witness in harmony with the divine will. So when action arises from clarity of thought and purity of speech, it becomes a sacred service. It's a seva. When it arises from confusion or desire, it binds us to the suffering. So we have to act with awareness, not impulse. We have to act with compassion, not judgment. We have to act in alignment with the truth, not ego. So this is the perfection of the three fields: the field of thought, field of speech, field of action. So we saw at the end, to live consciously in these three is to realize the essence of life itself. That is the wisdom of the three fields. Now, friends, we will see about the Vaakshetra. Vaakshetra part 2 deals with Manokshetra, Vaakshetra, Karmashetra. The part 1 is the power of Vak, speech as a creative energy. Human life unfolds through three sacred fields: Manokshetra, the field of thought; Vaakshetra, the field of speech; the Karmashetra, the field of action. These three together form the complete expression of consciousness in manifestation. Among them, Vaakshetra is the field of speech holds a position of unique sanctity, for it stands as the bridge between the invisible world of thought and the visible world of action. Speech is the channel through which the unmanifest takes form, through which the inner becomes outer, through which the human consciousness interacts with the universe. So every spoken word carries a vibration that influences both the speaker and the listener. Thus, speech is not a mere social instrument, but a spiritual act. It carries the potential to heal or to wound, to unite or to divide, to uplift or to destroy. In the human being, the power of walk manifests as a double-edged force. When used consciously, it becomes an instrument of enlightenment. When used carelessly, it becomes a cause of bondage. So, speech originates in silence. It is born in the depth of silent consciousness, travels through thought, takes shapes in the mind, and emerges through the physical organ as sound. Therefore, the quality of one's speech is a direct reflection of the quality of one's inner silence. Whereas when the mind is turbulent, speech becomes violent. When the mind is clear, speech becomes luminous. Thus, the purification of Vaakshetra is inseparable from the purification of Manokshetra. For what we utter is what we truly are. So now we will see the origin of speech. That is how the speech was born, from silence to sound. All speech arises from silence. Before a single word is spoken, there is the vast stillness of consciousness, pure undivided awareness. From that infinite silence, a subtle vibration emerges, known in the Vedas as Sabda Brahman, the absolute in its sonic form. This primal vibration is the foundation of Vak, the sacred power of expression. So every sound, every word, and every mantra originates from this single source, the unstruck sound, the Anahata Nada. So the four stages of speeches are transcendental stage, initiative or visionary stage, the mental or subtle stage, and the gross and spoken stage. These four are not theoretical. They are psychological and energetic realities within the being. So first we will see what is transcendental speech. Here, a speech is the purest unborn form, sound as consciousness itself. It exists in the Mooladhara Chakra. That is the root center where the Kundalini Shakti lies, coiled in deep potential. Here, speech is not yet differentiated into words or thoughts. It is pure vibration, the silence that contains all sound. This stage corresponds to the state of Turiya. the fourth state of consciousness beyond waking, dreaming, and sleeping. Next, the visionary speech. So this is essence to the Swadhisthara chakra, and the speech takes the forms of a subtle vision or idea. This is the basis of idea, how speech is formed. So at this stage, thought has not yet become language, but the inner vision of meaning is born. Next is mental speech. That is speech how takes shape. As the vibration rises to the Manipura chakra, speech becomes mental. It now takes shapes as structured thought. Madhyama means the middle one. For this is the intermediary realm between inner intuition and external expression. So most human communication begins here. When our thoughts are confused or negative, our words naturally reflect that disharmony. Thus, the purification of Madhyama Vak, the inner dialogue, is essential for Vak Suddhi to occur. So, a purified inner voice becomes a conduit for truth, while an impure one becomes the breeding sound or sound of delusion, breeding sound of delusion and conflict. Next is the spoken speech. Now, the speech has taken a sound form. See, finally, as the vibration reaches the Visuddha chakra, it manifests as audible sound. This is a speech we utter through the physical organs, that is, tongues, lips, and vocal cords. At this level, speech interacts with the external world. It can build or destroy, inspire or wound, depending on the consciousness behind it. So, when speech flows from higher centers, guided by the awareness, love, and truth, it carries the fragrance of a paravak and becomes divine utterance. But when it emerges from the lower impulses, fear, anger, or pride, it becomes a source of distortion and suffering. The journey of walk is therefore a sacred ascent. As I told, it ascends from Muladhara chakra, Swadhisthana chakra, Manipura chakra, and Vishuddha chakra. So to walk this path consciously is to transform ordinary communication into a spiritual practice. So every time we speak with awareness, compassion, and alignment, we participate in the same creative act through which the universe itself was born. Now, so we have seen how the speech has born in various 4 stages. Now we see how the purification happens, speech purification. Speech is not merely a tool for communication, it is a creative energy that shapes destiny. Every word uttered carries vibration, and every vibration influences the universe. Therefore, the refinement of speech is not a moral suggestion, but a spiritual discipline, a process of aligning one's outer expression with the inner truth. Next, we see the nature of Vaakshuddhi. So, Vaakshuddhi means purification of speech. It arises only when the heart, mind, and will move in harmony. When thought, word, and action flow as one continuous current, the being radiates peace. But when they are divided, inner dissonance manifests as outer conflict. So, our Brahma Rishi Bhatriji used to tell, we have to purify our word, and our world will be purified. So just as a muddy water cannot reflect the sky, impure speech cannot express divine consciousness. So through Vaakshuddhi, speech becomes a mirror of the soul that is transparent, radiant, and healing. The purification of speech is achieved through 3 sacred principles: Satya, that is truthfulness; Ahimsa, that is non-violence; and the Mauna, that is silence. So we will see in depth of the 3. The Satya, first the Satya, the discipline of truth. When we speak truth, our words carry the power of Dhamma. They resonate with universal order. But when we speak falsely, to manipulate, to please, or to deceive, we create a split in the consciousness. This inner division manifests as suffering. So to speak the truth, one must first live truthfully. Truth is not in words, it is in being. When a person lives in awareness, truth naturally expresses through them effortlessly and without fear. So our Mahatma Gandhi declared, truth is God and God is truth. So we have seen in our national emblem also, in our state, truth never triumphs. So next is Ahimsa, the discipline of non-violent speech. Ahimsa means non-violence, not merely the absence of harm, but the presence of compassion. Words can wound more deeply than weapons. A harsh word spoken in anger may linger for years in another sort, while a gentle word can heal even the deepest pain. Speech purified by Ahimsa is calm, considerate, and born of empathy. Such speech flows from Anahata Sakra, that is the heart center, the seat of unconditional love. When a Anahata opens, the tone of one's voice changes, it vibrates with sweetness, understanding, and care. Even silence from such a person communicates peace. So, Mahan Buddha taught, speak only what which is true. Speak only that which is true. Speak only that which is kind. Speak only that which brings benefit. I will repeat. Buddha has taught, speak only that which is true. Speak only that which is kind. Speak only that which brings benefit. This is the triple filter of right speech. When speech passes those three filters, it becomes a vehicle of enlightenment. Next, we will go to the Mauna, that is the discipline of the sacred silence. Mauna means silence, not merely refraining from speech, but resting in the silence behind speech. Silence is the womb of all words. Every sound emerges from it and dissolves back into it. To practice Mauna is to return to the source of walk, to rediscover the stillness from which all creation flows. So true silence is not suppression, but transcendence. It is the moment when the mind ceases to chatter and awareness abides in itself. In that silence, speech becomes effortless, precise, and powerful. When a realized being speaks, even a single word carries transformative energy. This is because their words arise from the stillness of pure consciousness, as our Sri Ramana Maharishi often taught through silence itself. Silence is the most potent form of speech. Silence is the most potent form of speech. So through Mauna, the vibration of truth deepens and the need for excessive speech dissolves. One begins to communicate through presence, through energy, through the quiet radiance of heart. So now we will see the synthesis of Satya, Ahimsa, and Mauna. So when Satya, that is the truth, Ahimsa, that is the love, and the Mauna, that is silence, merge. When all the three merge, speech becomes divine. Such speech does not come from the ego, but from the self. That is called Atman. It heals the listener and uplifts the speaker. It is no longer personal expression. So speech as energy, so Vak as Sakti, speech as the energy of the Divine Mother. This is the culmination of Vaksuddhi when words become instruments of awakening. Next, we will see the source of true speech. The Anahata chakra, located at the center of the chest, is known as the source. That is the heart center. The word Anahata means unstruck, referring to the unstruck sound Anahata Nada that eternally vibrates within the cosmos, the silent music heard by the mystic heart. In yogic philosophy, Anahata is the meeting point between the three lower centers which governs material existence and the three higher center which express spiritual consciousness. It is the balance point, the sacred bridge between earth and heaven, between matter and spirit, between the human and the divine. Next is the voice of heart. True speech, Satyavak, arises only when consciousness flowers in the Anahata chakra. Before that awakening, speech is often reactive, born of emotion, ego, or desire. But when the heart opens, speech becomes responsive, not reactive, compassionate, not impulsive. The heart does not speak in arguments. It speaks in understanding. It does not speak to convince, but to connect. It is from this center that speech becomes healing, melodic, and magnetic. That is, speech connects the people. A person anchored in Anahata communicates with the gentleness, even their silence radiates meaning. Their words carry no aggression, no manipulation, no pride, only clarity and love. Next, the unstruck sound, Anahata Nada. In the depths of Anahata vibrates the Anahata Nada, the soundless sound. This is the eternal vibration that underlies all manifestation, the hum of life itself. When a seeker enters deep meditation and crosses the turbulence of the mind, they begin to hear the subtle sound, not with the ears, but with the inner consciousness. This sound is not produced by striking any two objects, hence anahata, that is unstruck. It is a self-born vibration of existence, the song of the soul. All sacred music, all mantra, and all divine utterances are reflections of this cosmic tone. Next, we will see speech and the heart's purity. Every word spoken from the heart carries a fragrance. It nourishes both the speaker and the listener. It uplifts the energy of the environment, harmonizing all that touches. But if the heart is clouded with anger, jealousy, or fear, even the most eloquent speech loses its light. Therefore, purification of speech must go hand in hand with the purification of heart. One cannot speak truthfully if the heart is filled with falsehood. One cannot speak lovingly if the heart is filled with resentment. So, to awaken the Anagata Chakra is to allow love to guide expression. Love does not mean awakeness, it is the highest form of intelligence. From it arises wisdom, empathy, and the power to transform others through simple words. The heart as a seat of Vaksati. So, in the awakening being Vaksati, the power of speech resides in the Anagata Sakra. Such a person becomes a vessel for divine communication. Their words no longer arise from intellect, but from intuition, not from thought, but from direct perception. So this is why speech of saints, poets, and enlightened masters carries an inexplicable vibration. Even when spoken in ordinary language, their words penetrate deeper into listeners' heart, awakening understanding without argument. So from Brahman arose space, from space arose air, from air arose fire, from fire arose water, from water arose earth, and in all walk abides as the sustaining principle. To realize this truth is to honor speech as sacred energy and to use it only for truth, harmony, and love. Next, we will see the transformation. That is a manifestation of walk in action, how from word to deed. Having understood the sanctity of the walk and the purity of the Anagata Sakra, we now move towards its natural extension, action. That is the karma. Speech is not an end in itself, it is a bridge between thought and deed. When speech is purified, action becomes its radiant reflection. In the sacred triad of mano, vakarma, thought, word, and action, all three must align for spiritual integrity to merge. If thoughts are noble but speech is harsh, or if words are kind but actions contradict them, harmony is lost. The enlightened being strives for unity among these three, where what is thought, what is spoken, and what is done are one continuous expression of truth. The law of vibrational consistency. Every word carries vibration. When it is uttered with sincerity and love, that vibration strengthens and manifests as action. When speech is false or careless, its vibration is dissonant, creating obstacles and confusion. So words are not mere sound, they are seeds of karma. When they fall upon the fertile soil of awareness, they blossom into right action. When they fall upon ignorance or ego, they breed misunderstanding and conflict. So this is why masters of truth speak less but live deeply. Their silence is potent and their few words carry the force of creation. So the journey from intention to manifestation. Every action begins as a subtle intention to the mind. That is a sankalpa. When this intention passes to the heart, anahata, it becomes infused with compassion and purpose. Then expressed through the purified speech of Vaksuti, it transforms into conscious action. That is a karmasuti. This is a sacred flow. That is, the flow is thought, speech, action, and destiny. If the flow is interrupted by ego, destiny becomes distorted. But when the flow is pure, that is thought, speech, action, destiny is pure, destiny itself becomes dharma, the expression of divine order in life. So we will speak about the pyramid masters and the word of truth. So we honor the pyramid master now. From pyramid master, speech is not ornamental; it is transformational. There, every utterance carries power because it emerges from stillness, not from restlessness. Just as Sri Krishna transformed the battlefield of Kurukshetra into with his divine discourse, the Bhagavad Gita, the pyramid masters also should transform the inner battlefield of seekers with words that awaken awareness. Their weapons are not swords or arguments, but truthful vibrations. Their victory is not over others, but over ignorance. Their service is not through rituals, but through presence, understanding, and wise speech. The discipline of wise speech. So, for the spiritual aspirant, the practice of Satyavak must extend beyond meditation into daily living. It is a constant inquiry before every utterance. Is what I am about to say true? Is it necessary? Will it create harmony? So, if the answer is no, silence is superior to speech. As Buddha told, speak only that which is true, kind, and beneficial, or we should remain silent. That is, I will repeat, speak only that which is true, kind, and beneficial, or we should remain silent. Such restraint is not suppression, it is mastery. When silence and speech are both conscious, every action that follows becomes luminous. The birth of Karma Suddhi. When thought, word, and action align perfectly, Karma Suddhi, purity of action is born. This is the flowering of Vaakshetram. Here, speech no longer creates karma, it dissolves it. Not only the doer, but also the collective consciousness of humanity. They ripple outward, harmonizing environments, healing relationships, and awakening truth in others. So, this is the life of a pyramid master, one who lives as a channel of divine communication, whose speech blesses, whose silence teaches, and whose actions redeem. So, when we enter the Vaakshetram 3, where speech transcends words and becomes meditation, is the silence of truth. Now we will see the silence beyond speech, Mauna as the highest work. We will see about the Mauna. After the refinement of thought, the purification of speech, and the alignment of action, 3 dawns as sacred stillness, Mauna, the silence of truth. We are entering the final, the silence of truth. This silence is not the absence of mind, it is the presence of awareness, the still, luminous space where words dissolve into pure understanding. The meaning of Mauna. In Sanskrit, Mauna does not simply mean not speaking. It means being established in the self, that is Atma Sthiti. When the mind no longer wavers, when emotion no longer disturb, and when the tongue no longer rushes to express, then the seeker enters the silence of being. This silence is eloquent. It communicates without words, teaches without explanation, and heals without effort. It is said when the Buddha attained enlightenment, he sat in silence for many days. When his disciples approached him, his presence alone transmitted the truth they sought. Such is the power of Mauna Vak, speech through silence. There are 2 kinds of silence. Silence, refraining verbal expression. This is the preliminary discipline useful for conserving energy and cultivating mindfulness. It prepares the ground, but it is not the destination. Inner silence, that is the Manasa Mauna. The stillness of mind. This is important. Here, thoughts themselves subside and the seeker abides in the natural quietude of consciousness. This silence is the true walk, the voice of the eternal. When the inner silence flowers, even ordinary speech becomes sacred. Every word arises from the void of awareness and returns into it. The silent speech of the masters, all great being, Krishna, Buddha, Jesus, Ramana Maharshi, were masters of silence. Their words, though few, carried infinite resonance because they arose from the ocean of stillness. Even Ramana Maharshi has once said, silence is the most powerful teaching. Speech divides, but silence unites. I will repeat, silence is the most powerful teaching. Speech divides, but silent unites, was told by Ramana Maharshi. In his presence, seekers experienced answers without questions. Their doubts melted, not by explanation, by the radiance of his inner calm. That silence was not emptiness, it was presence itself. Mauna as the completion of Vak. In the earliest stages of Vaakshetram, words were the tools of transformation. But at this final stage, words are transcended. So here silence becomes the purest expression of speech, the paravak, the supreme word. So according to Takvada, there are 4 levels of speech. That is the spoken world, the subtle world formed in the mind, the visioned world seen in consciousness, the supreme and unmanifest speech that dwells in the silence. So in my days, I used to tell the word, there are, when we think of speaking, the speech will come from tongue, number 1. The speech will come from heart and mind, number 2. The speech is the that is the we speak with consciousness, what which I want to speak. Then the supreme is silence. So the seeker who reaches Paravak realizes that all communications begins and ends in silence. From silence, words are drawn. Into silence, they return. From silence, words are drawn. Into silence, they return. Silence is both origin and culmination, the alpha and the omega of expression. So the silence of pyramid masters live in this eternal silence. Even when they speak, their words emerge from the tranquil depths of Mauna. Their speech carries no personal intention. It's pure transmission. They teach through presence, through vibration, through the silent power of consciousness. Their Mauna is creative, not passive, radiant, not void. It is a silence that awakens others into awareness of their divinity. So living Mauna in daily life. To practice Mauna in the modern world does not mean withdrawal from activity. It means carrying the stillness within while engaging in life's movement. It is to speak only when necessary. It is to speak only to listen, and to listen deeply, and to allow inner quiet to guide every response. So Mauna is to speak only when necessary, to listen deeply, and to allow inner quiet to guide every response. When one lives in Mauna, even a single glance or gesture can communicate more than 1,000 words. Such a person has transcended both speech and silence. They have entered the state of effortless awareness. So the culmination, truth as refuge, ultimately the journey of Vaakshetram concludes in one realization, that is, truth alone is my refuge. So from truth arises silence, from silence arises peace, and from peace arises realization. I will repeat. From truth arises silence, from silence arises peace, from peace arises realization. So this is the essence of the Vaakshetram, and the spirit of the pyramid master is to live by truth. The spirit of the pyramid master is to speak from the heart, and to act in harmony, and to rest in the eternal silence of the self. This much I want to tell about the Vaakshetram 2. I think I thank for the opportunity given to me by our master through Logeshar. I thank all masters and friends for their passion sharing. Thank you, friends. I conclude with this. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for the knowledge sharing, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.